Hello and welcome back to another speed build video. My name's Jess and today I'm building in Moonwood Mill on a 40 by 30 lot, and as you can see by the title, today's build is a werewolf family home. So in honor of Growing Together releasing today actually, I might get this out just a bit before the release, but we'll see. I really wanted to build some occult sim family homes. I just thought it would be fun for gameplay, something a little bit different, and I know I'll be stuck on building more suburban style homes with the new pack, so I just thought it would be fun to do something a little bit more creative for me, something where I just got to play around with what we have in game. And it's been a while since I've done a werewolf build, so I'm really excited to share this with you. I really had a lot of fun doing this build. It's a lot more colorful than I normally go for, and as you can see here, I'm working on the layout because it is a little bit of a more unique layout. So when I was copying it back over, I wanted to make sure I had it right. It's kind of the same deal. I recently released a video where I did a witch or spellcaster family house, and I definitely had a more complicated layout than what I'm used to. So I wanted to make sure I had all those rooms in place before I started building. So you can see I did finally get it together and we are moving on to wallpaper. So for the wallpaper, I really wanted to utilize the colored swatches of the siding from Werewolves. So what I did was just kind of place them kind of like patchwork on the house. So I just wanted these pops of color, this blue, the yellow, the red. And then when I added the roofing here, you can see, which is also from Werewolves, it just brought it all together and I think made this build look so much fun, and it definitely, to me at least, reads as a family home, like a really fun family home. And I'm really happy with that. This whole build, pretty proud of. And like I said, I had so much fun doing it. It's just really cool when you get to be a little extra creative. And also, like, I used swatches I've never used and probably will never use again unless I do a build like this again. But like even the roof swatch, don't know if I would have ever used it. It's not even in a more normal color because I don't often build industrial style builds. So it was cool to be able to use these items, and you can see I am making pretty good progress on the shape, and this is definitely a more unique shape. I actually showed my sister and she said that it's kind of Ghibli-esque, which was such a high compliment because I love Ghibli and definitely would love to have do a build that looks like it could be inspired by that. It's very exciting. So here you can see I put on, I used the roof detail from Cottage Living to create kind of, I'm not sure what you call it, like something to hold up that wall that comes out at the diagonal. I'm not exactly sure if it's not a column, but functions similarly to a column. But I sized it up a little bit too big, so I had to do that off camera because I didn't want you to have to watch it all over again. But I was able to get it to work, but it's still a little bit, I do have to make some adjustments because it was poking out of the bottom of the deck there. So definitely have to do a little bit of adjusting to get it perfect, but totally works for me for now. And I think looks really cute. Another inspiration I definitely had while I was doing this build is the burrow from Harry Potter, where the Weasley family lives. I wanted to kind of have it feel like those vibes, and like you could also get each kid's personality from each room. So I tried to put that into this build, which, speaking of the rooms, this house does have 2 kids' bedrooms and 1 main bedroom. So it's not as big as my spellcaster house, but it still should be functional. The bedrooms are can definitely fit more than 1 child if you do want to play with a bigger family in this build. And there are also the teens room. I did make a teens room. It can definitely work as like a grandparents room, guest room, that kind of vibe with Growing Together coming out. I know there's like guest stay kind of feature, I think. So hopefully that will work well for that if you want to do that gameplay as well. So you can see I'm just working on the landscaping now. And one of the things, of course, because this is in Moonwood Mill, I needed to fill it up with trees, lots of greenery. If you've watched my videos before, I always mention this, but I am from the Pacific Northwest, so I really think that Moonwood Mill was was kind of based off of the Northwest. And so I love building here, and I really like trying to make it look like an area I would see if I were walking around outside. So I think I was able to do that. And of course, with a lot of live edit objects from Cottage Living and Werewolves, definitely were the key players in my landscaping. But you can see I also on the swamp added in a little boat and a little dock, and those are both from base game. So I'm really glad we have those in game because I think they added just a nice little element to the swamp. I thought it looked like that little bridge or little dock kind of used to be a bridge, but has kind of broken down now. And I just felt like that was the perfect vibe for this build. So now you can see I finished up most of the plant life landscaping. So now I'm just working on getting all the little details. I wanted to have a car in this build just because I felt like it worked with this kind of what I was going for with this build. And I did want a bike, but I ended up going for a live edit bike from Cottage Living that could sit there a little bit more closely to the build. So it's not a functional bike, so you will have to place one if you do want a functional bike in this build, but it's a pretty bike. So happy to have that in live edit. I will say I did add in a little garage detail, and we'll work on that last, but I really like having a little garage because I think that it works really well for you to be able to add in any skill building items that you might need. I tried to add in a ton, but it's usually not always everything you need for your particular gameplay. So one thing I started doing here is adding in some grass and mushrooms on the top of the build. I got this idea from, I always forget what her name is exactly. I think it's Plant Sim Girl, but it could be a mixture of those words. But I used it in a swamp build I did a while back, and I just thought it would work really well for this build and just add in a little bit more detail. I always like to add in some greenery on builds like this. Just to me, it makes sense that they would have just a little something growing on them. They're a little old and unkempt. And so I tried to place it kind of by the skylights too, which I'm so glad I got to use this roof texture because I got to actually have those little skylights in my game, which I think is such a cool component of this roof. So yeah, just adding those in, and I really think that it ended up looking really, really nice. And let's see. Oh, okay, so I went in and wanted to add in more mushrooms since we had plenty of mushrooms on the roof, and I wanted to bring that through to the whole build. So with me still working on the landscaping and adding in all the final details, I was just curious if you guys are planning on playing the new Growing Together expansion pack, or if it's something you're holding off on to see what other people kind of have to say about it. I'm personally very excited. I will be downloading it the moment it is available, and definitely checking it out. I don't know if I'll do much gameplay just because I definitely want to get some builds out, and hopefully I can get a build out for you by Friday with some of the new items and just get to play around with all of that. But I'm so curious about the gameplay. I know we had the infant update, and it seems like for some people, like I've heard kind of mixed reviews, like I've heard it's very, very cute, and I have to say I love the items they added into game, but some people are saying it's a little bit boring, which kind of makes sense to me because they are infants, so there's not a ton that an infant can do except like eat, sleep, poop, like pretty basic stuff. So Yeah, so I'm curious what kind of other gameplay. I did see when I was building that the dollhouse is actually functional with infants. So if you do need something to do with infants, a dollhouse should be functional. It's what the game told me. So um, that's something that hopefully when I play test this build, I'll be able to see what exactly it is that infants can do. um, but that's going to be very interesting. It's so funny having to play test has really been how I've been playing The Sims at all. So it's all very quick and like I make them just do a million things within one day just to test everything in the house. So hopefully I'll get to do a little bit of gameplay. I will say in this space I fit in the living room and the dining room, and it's a little squishy, so I definitely might need to do some readjusting. I feel like I keep saying that in every build, but it's because in every build I keep having a moment where I'm like, oh, I don't know if this will fit. So yeah, I wanted to add in this little piece here in the corner so I could have all the different items that you can collect in Moonwood Mill. And I just thought it kind of feels like werewolf history, which to me, like a family, I figured you would have something like that. Um, so here you can see me trying to adjust and readjust this table, but the good news is there is a table outside as well. So your Sims will have a place to sit even if I am not able to get it to work super well. I might need to do a smaller table, and that should be fine. That should do it with a smaller table. So we'll just have to see. I always try and go big and hope it works, and know I can size down if I have to. So the kitchen came together pretty quickly. I used the cabinets from Country Kitchen and really was able to get it to fit pretty well. And here I'm using this really cute display case that I found from high school years. I had no idea it came with high school years. It's so cute and perfect for this little space in the kitchen. So I was so happy with that, and I just got to add in a few decor items that I thought made sense there. And now, of course, I'm cluttering up the counters since I don't have a kitchen shelf. I did add in a few extra items because I just can't be stopped when it comes to clutter in the kitchen. I definitely have the most fun cluttering up kitchens. So I really was happy with how it came together. And the last thing I did, I think I grabbed some pieces, from vampires, and I made this kind of like garlic area. And I figured that would be good because obviously werewolves and vampires aren't the best of friends. So having a little garlic moment I thought was a cute little nod to that. And so here you can see I'm just adding on a couple plants to this little area. Oh, and I will say it kept telling me the whole time that EA wanted me to restart the app, so I'm sorry that's going to pop up a couple times. I didn't even notice it until probably the third or fourth time it came up, and I didn't know how to restart it while I was playing the game. So now I know. I think you're just supposed to exit off of the game, but did not know that otherwise. So downstairs I wanted to make sure there was a bathroom, but I did just make it a 3-tile bathroom where you just have the toilet and the sink. And I figured hopefully that will be enough for gameplay to just be helpful so your Sims don't have to walk all the way up the stairs, because there is quite a bit of stairs in this build. So I did want to try and avoid it as much as it could be avoided, because I know stairs are not the best for family gameplay. But of course, sometimes when I'm building, I do think of form over function here and there. So I definitely wanted this to be a very cute build. And to do that, I was like, I think it would look really good to have a couple stories stacked on top of each other. So hopefully, though, that bathroom will help with any annoyance of going up and down the stairs. So you could see really quickly in the back, I added a bonfire and a little movie area. I just thought that, again, trying to think about fun family gameplay, having movie nights outside, I thought would just be really cute addition. And then in this little kind of bump out area, I thought it would be sweet to have a couple rocking chairs. And of course, I put the knitting and cross stitching stuff right there. But I thought that could be a nice area where your Sims could hang out and knit together. Um, and just like look out over the little forest. I don't know. I thought that was really cute and I was happy with that little section. I wasn't sure what to put there because it was so small, but I do think also like a chess table would look really good there. But now you can see I'm working on the entryway and I just made kind of a little shelf area and added in a few items, including that bear basket, which is so cute, and it's from the base game update, so it now belongs in base game forever. So pretty amazing. It's such a cute item. And here you can see this, I'm working on the kids room. So this room works for a infant and a toddler. So I thought it would be good to have a toddler's bed in here. So either when they aged up from infant to toddler, it'd be ready to go, or you could have two kids in this room, no problem. And so I added in the dresser and tried to make it look kind of like a changing table using the pillow from Little Camper's Kit. And over here is like the other section of the kids' room, and this is the toddlers section. Got to use a few new items over here as well and really loved it. This rug just felt perfect for this build with the mountains on it. And it kind of brought in the colors. It was a little bit off color that I was using, but I think, again, this whole house is a little patchwork. So that's the nice thing about it, is anything that doesn't quite match is just a part of the theme. So it all worked out. So here you can see I'm working on the teens room or grandparents room or children's room, whoever you want to live in this space. I wanted to make sure there was a desk. I did want to make sure there was multiple computers in this build because I do think it just makes life easier when you're playing the game. And so we had this cute desk from Paranormal that I think suits the space so well. And in this space, I thought in my mind it would be kind of a creative sim. So I wanted to have a little stack of canvases and then just use this shelf from Country Kitchen Kit to kind of add in a little bookshelf and a little bit of detail on the top of the build, or on the this like section of wall of the build, just because it was looking a little bare without something else there. So just added in a few plants and a gnome, of course. I thought that gnome was so cute. So really enjoyed the outcome of this little build. It definitely added what this space needed. And then of course I'm adding in a dresser area with just a few items to clutter it up. And yeah, that is the teens room just about done. Just needed to add in those last few details. Of course, I have to add in a rug. So one thing I love about this build is all the different balconies, because I was able to add in, again, so many more skill building items or like family items. So out here, I wanted to add in the game table, and I think that really worked nicely. And just is such a cute idea that like the kids could come together and play a game outside. And then I just kind of filled it up with a few different items like an easel and a little stuffed animal for the kids to play with. So just really like how that came together, and I think it's such a sweet element of this build. Now working on the bathroom, I kept it very simple. Just wanted to add in this kind of blue color for the kids to make it a little bit more fun in this room. I tried to always add in a few different changes to each bathroom to kind of have it reflect the personality of the floor it was on. So here you can see there's a perfect space for another desk, and I used the desk from Werewolf, which I love and really was just so perfect for this corner. Came together so quickly. And then over here, I added in a little chair from Werewolves and just tried to keep this area a little bit fun, again, because it's on the kids level. I tried to keep that in mind. And here there wasn't a lot of space to add in a ton of skill building items, but I did add in the bonsai tree, so hopefully that'll be something, again, that's a little bit helpful for gameplay. Whatever sim you want in this lot, hopefully they have some gameplay that's represented and skill building that's represented on the lot. So for the parents' room, because the outside was red, I wanted to bring that to the interior, which I had a lot of fun with. And so first thing I did was, of course, clutter up some of the desks, and I did have some trouble with tool mod here, but that's okay. It was just sometimes clicking around, you can accidentally click like the platform height or accidentally rotate something you don't mean to. So that's my bad. But I wanted to make this parents' room look like it was a place where the kids came to hang out as well. So I did add in a little kind of toy basket situation, and I just thought that really brought this space together, and it just really feels like a family house. So I'm really, really happy with that. And I did add in a dresser quickly, and then over here, just a little space for your Sims to sit. And now just working on the parents' bathroom, I did have to kind of make it a weird, put the toilet and the sink at a weird angle, just because the window was in the way, so I couldn't put the mirror down. But it ended up working out okay, and I did add in just a little shower here on this space, so hopefully this will be good for your parent Sims to be able to use and quickly shower, but there's still a bath downstairs for any infants or toddlers. So now working on the deck area, this was another space I just tried to add in a lot of different elements of gameplay, and of course I had to do this telescope from Werewolves, and I added in some items that I thought would make it look like they wrote down like the different constellations they were seeing and kept track of the star movements, things like that. And because their parents are up here, I wanted to add in the lounge chairs and just add in some spaces where people could sit just to hang out, and of course add in another easel up here. I just kind of assumed creative Sims would live in this house. I think it's because of the color. Yeah, and so this came together pretty quickly. So the last thing I'm going to do is fill up the shed, and with the shed I made it kind of a musical space. But that actually means we're coming close to the end of the build. So the first thing I did was add in this item from Werewolf, so you can, I think it connects up to some tunnels. And anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy growing together if you download it. I hope you have a great week, a great day. Thanks again for watching. Bye.